Hello, Howard. Oh, catching in Chris. Well, now how can I do this? You know what I need to do? I just realized I need to put my camera over here where the text is instead of on the other side. Let's see if I can get. That ain't bad. All right. I think we're good. Can everybody hear me? Have you ever had Opiola shrimp? Hard to find good sellers for them. I don't believe I have. Opiola. Is that a saltwater or fresh? From Hawaii. Let's see. Let's look them up. Well, I don't know. It looks like a regular old shrimp to me. I can't tell the difference. Let's see. Oak leaves. Yes, oak leaves. I agree absolutely. I sell a mix of about 5 different leaves with seed pods. So it's really quite a nice selection, and you get a whole lot of it. You get a big bunch of it. Hola girl. Hello, hola girl. And you don't. What's West Virginia holla? West Virginia holla girl. Got it. Ah. Let's see, we need to give you a wrench. West Virginia holla girl. Well, love you being here. Marky, hello Marky. Kevin Rosenberg. Charles Fondren, hello Charles. Charles is a member. He is in green. Happy to have you with us and very much appreciate your support. Depth charge. Guppy girl. Juriali Cabrera. Jennifer McFadden. Cynthia Norman. Depth charge is also in West Virginia. Race Smokey, Catching Nelson, Jose Gonzalez from the UK. Need to give you a wrench, Jose. Bobby, hello Bobby. Which of my tanks is my favorite? Well, I guess the 22-year-old tank, I guess, is my favorite. If I have a favorite, that would be it. No shipping available in Quebec. We're trying to get it set up. I do now have shipping to Canada, but it's going to be in bulk. In other words, I can we're trying to get a rep set up in Canada to be able to do the dirted substrate and plants and whatever. So that's in the works and should happen fairly soon. Steve Warren, Nebraska, representing Devode M8. Devode M8, hello. Have I seen the elephant nose fish? I have a story about elephant nose fish. I sold elephant nose fish to Yale University, to a biology lab at Yale. For about a year, they bought, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them a month for about a year. They were doing research on the electric impulses, which is a fascinating project. I got them into a few other fish, like Abba Abba, which is another blind fish that moves by sonar. That was kind of interesting. Alex did some work with elephant nose, discovered it may well have been the very first ornamental fish that was ever kept as an ornamental fish in Rome. I think the goldfish is actually older, but in the West that may have well been the oldest one. Kenny D is here. Hey Kenny, nice to see you. John Wedrawall. Hello John. Let's see, let's get John a wrench here. Well, can I do it? Yes. Passing Wind, Ghost of ROK. Have I taken care of any Chana species? Well, I have, actually. What's the big cat? Name of it's on the tip of my tongue. The one that the man eater. I've had some of those. Didn't have them particularly big. Let's see. I've had the, oh, what is that called? Channel. Let's see. See what we're talking about here. That's a snakehead. Oh, this a goonch is what I was thinking about. I have had snakeheads back when they were legal. They're not legal in Maryland. They were not legal in Florida. Even though there are some species that only get about 6 inches long, the people who write the laws don't understand species, and so they just kind of throw the kitchen sink away. But yeah, I've had them and I really like them. They're wonderful fish. The bowfin is comparable. And it's not illegal. It's something you can still get. It's a native species. And it's every bit as interesting, I think, as the giant snakehead. Jose Gonzalez, do you think it's safe for plants to have the lights of the tank 24/7? Yeah, I do. I've got, I have some tanks. Well, this one. This has lights on it 24/7. Now, I don't have the full light on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on this. I turned 3 of them off. So I've got 2 that stay on 24/7. I've noticed that when I do that, occasionally I will get, particularly in the new tank, I'll start getting algae and then I'll just cut it back. Uh, your apple snail eats her live plants, says Ghost of ROK. Well, they do that. That's absolutely right. They absolutely do that. You can't keep apple snails with plants. There's another one too, the Spixie. The Spixie snail. You cannot keep with plants either. It looks like a giant ram's horn. Terrible snails. Terrible snails. Now, I'll tell you what though, I've had both with Aponogetans, and they will not eat Aponogetans. Go figure. My hunch is they're toxic to the snails, and they just they don't like the flavor. Apples eat everything. Yeah, the Spixies will eat the root. They'll pull the roots up and eat them. They're buggers. Livestream plant bundle snail. I will be posting on Tuesday the list of plants that will be available on the plant sale. The package deal is 16 bunches of plants, 8 different species, 2 bunches each. You get them in 2 bags. And they're $59.95 plus $15 for shipping. So it's a really extraordinary deal. There are 5 plants in a bunch. So it's 16 times 5. That's 80 plants for $59.95. And as I said, I'll be posting the list of plants that'll be available this week, and it changes week to week. So you can buy plants one week, and the next week they won't be 100% different, but half of them will be different. Some are just kind of routine, like the Ludwigia, but I usually have different kinds of Ludwigia each week, so you really get a phenomenal variety. Use the night feature. I don't have a night. It says TK Tropicals. Ketsy Nelson. Apples eat everything. They do indeed. Father.fish. Father.fish. That's our new website where our store is. We're going to be doing some other things as soon as we get a little time to set it up. It'll be a really fun site. Jordan Croft. Nice to see you, Jordan. Devode M8. Malaysian trumpet snails. Like 'em or hate 'em. Useful or menace. Hope you're well. I like them. They're useful. If you are overrun with Malaysian trumpet snails, it means very simply that you are overfeeding your tank, and the snails are doing their level best to keep the tank from crashing. So if you've got a ton of snails, Malaysian trumpet snails, be thankful and change your behavior, because you caused it, and they're just doing their best to keep a catastrophe averted. Ketsy Nelson says she has a 24/7 light that simulates day and night on a timer. That's very nice. I guess what I've discovered about light, and I tend to use inexpensive lights because I go through a lot of them. I have a lot of tanks. I don't have a whole lot right now, but I've got 8 tanks now. I don't spend 200 bucks on a light. I spend 10 to 20 on a light. Um, so I'm not getting necessarily a lot of a very intense light, which means I can afford to leave it on. And they're all LEDs, so the cost is pretty limited. Um, the issue about lighting is it's really impossible to duplicate the sun. So I recommend just leaving them on as until you start getting algae, and then put some more plants in. Zdan. It's Zdan. Interesting comment. Zdan says, Ghost, we mostly have people that follow trends, not actual knowledge. Really excellent point, as though trends are knowledge, and they're clearly not. Henry Guajardo, thank you for sharing your knowledge. You keep bringing us knowledge. We will do our best to learn what needs to be learned. Fish lives matter also. Indeed they do. Thank you, Henry. Juriali, you can show us your tank. If you will come over to Discord, you'll be able to post pictures and videos of your tank on Discord. We've got 2,000, almost now, 2,000 people signed up on Discord. So there are more than 100 people there at any given point in time. So do sign up, come on over and be a part of that really wonderful community. Let's see. What are we talking about, Biolarg? Magnetar. Magnetar, let's get you a wrench. Do I deliver overseas? No, but I have a rep in the EU, and I'm lining one up now for Canada. Nothing in the Far East yet, but I think I would be in stiff competition, I believe, if I tried to do that. Zdan. Laura is in Germany, and she's currently providing the supplement, the soil supplement. We may be able to get plants, and we can get leaves and mulm going. She'll be able to do that. So we're trying to add to it and help her get set up to be able to offer more. So you can order, if you go on Discord and contact Laura, if you're in the EU or Great Britain, we can help you there. Canada, same deal. That would be Snacky on Discord is going to be handling our product line in Canada, or as much as we can get to now. I'm going to be able to send plants. Also, Silver Creek is going to be handling plants for us on west of the Mississippi. We've had a little trouble shipping to the far west, so we're going to set up a supplier for plants that will ship out of Texas in order to be able to get to California in 2 days rather than 3 or 4. Let's see. What else have we got here? KJ sevens. I'm all such merchandise for algae, chlorine, fert, and now the father fish way solves all those problems. Well, that's kind of the idea. That's really why I titled the stream what I did. Don't buy this. And I've got a video that'll be out probably by Tuesday that's on the same topic. Things that you waste money on. It's things you should buy and things you should not buy. So yeah, just follow the video, but basically you don't need to buy anything that conditions the water because you don't need to condition the water. That's a complete red herring. The only thing you need to do is get chloramine out of the water. If you have chloramine, you're going to have to treat it chemically. And the way to do that, you can do it one of two ways. If you have a charcoal filter, like a Brita filter, that will filter out chloramines. Or you can put a chlorine remover. The sodium thiosulfate is one that I sell. The crystal will break if you use it double strength. It will break the ammonia chlorine bond, that molecule. It'll get rid of the chlorine, and the ammonia, what little bit there will be quickly and easily taken up by plants that you're going to have in your tank as well. So, two ways to get rid of chloramines. Snake Pliskin has a question. What can I do for my water column plants to give them more nutrients instead of throwing a bottle at it? All you really need is to have fish in the water. If you have fish in there, they're going to be providing all of the nutrients that the floating plants or non-rooted plants will need. In fact, it's a way to guarantee keeping your water really pure and free from a lot of nutrients. You should always have a few plants that are not rooted plants. Things like Java fern, salvinia, susvasser tang, those kinds of things that are going to be pulling nutrients out of the water column. They're very good at it. If it's a low level, they'll still get them. And fish will provide a continuing supply of nutrients. They're peeing and pooing all the time because they're eating all the time. If you have a small school of 10 to 20 fish in your tank, depending on its size, you will have more than enough nutrients in the water column to provide for whatever plants you're likely to have in there. How long do plants take on ammonia, say in a new tank? Very quickly, in a matter of hours at the most, minutes at the least. They absorb ammonia directly. And the more plants you have, the more quickly that's going to happen. So a lot of plants will take ammonia out of the water virtually instantly. And any opinion on guppy grass? Guppy grass is wonderful. It's a great non-rooted plant that grows into an absolute jungle, like a web in the tank. It's wonderful for any fish that spawns sticky eggs, for baby fish, provides a hiding place for them, as well as providing in the water column substrate or soft scape, if you will, for microfauna. So if you have things like guppy grass and other plants growing up in the water column, you will have microfauna on those plants. Microfauna tend to be on things, not free swimming so much. So they're going to be on the bottom unless you have plants and other things they can crawl up on. And of course, with plants, they're going to find food on those plants, so microalgae and so forth. Steve Warren says that water tends to kill most plants. I don't know what your water would be unless it's very, very soft and very, very acidic. That would tend to kill plants. You can fix that by hardening it, by putting buffers in it. Sodium bicarbonate, any kind of carbonate material. Eggshells, chicken eggshells are good. Just anything to increase the KH, the hardness of the water. Michael Sullivan. Michael, let's give you a wrench. And he says, I collected some mud from a local river today. No leaves to be seen as it has some flow. I found a lake yesterday that had sand. I think I'll be taking a trip there again soon. Now, the mud, you really cannot just put loose in the tank. It's got to be under the sand. You can do leaves, but you're not going to get away with mud because it's going to be in the water column more or less permanently. It'll be difficult to keep your water at all clear with that. But if you're setting up a tank, mix some of that mud in with peat moss and potting soil, and it'll give you a very rich substrate. Magnetalis says, I have Rotalis, pretty decent plants. I like how they show where they're going to sleep. If you know what I mean. Does anybody know what he means? Michael Sullivan, you're very welcome. Andy Chur, guppy grass and hornwort are nitrate sponges. They absolutely are. Depth Charge is asking Sue Ann to join in. Sue Ann here? Where is Sue Ann? Howard needs to get more tanks, he says. Oh, well. Oh, very hard water. Very hard water does not kill plants. That's not the problem. Very hard water, for example, is brackish water. And most of the plants that we have in the hobby, all of the stem plants, the rooted plants, like the swords, the Vallisneria, the Sagittarius, those are all plants that grow in brackish water. All over Florida you find them in brackish water. So hardness is not the issue. The issue may very well be inadequate nutrients in your substrate. Come on over to Discord and let's talk about that and see if we can help you get that worked out, Steve. That'd be a good one for us to solve for you. If you have hard water, you should not be having trouble keeping plants if everything else is appropriate. Snake says, all of my tanks are the same Pothos. Goes crazy. Some doesn't grow at all. All my tanks have a ton of fish. They seem to need nitrogen. Well, the Pothos certainly do, don't they? You betcha. Raul Caballero ordered the Fatherfish Plants package. My tank loves it. Thank you. Your photo is on my tank too. That's very nice, Raul. Thank you. And we're going to give you a wrench. Yeah, the plant package. There are enough plants in there to do a 10-gallon tank very heavily planted. A 20-gallon tank moderately planted. So we're going to set up 10, 20. 20 and 29 are the same footprint A 29 is simply a 20 that's taller. I'm talking about the 20 wide, the 30-inch 20. The 30-inch 20 is, or 24 is it? Is it 24 or 30? What is it? It's 24. It's the 20 gallon is 24 inches. Is that right? No, that's not right. It's 30, 24, 30 inches. There are two 29s. That's what's got me messed up. The 29 and the 20. The 29 2-foot, which is what I've got in back of me here. Those are 2-foot 29s. That's a 20-gallon footprint. Is that right? Yeah, I'm getting all mixed up. I think that's right. So anyway, a 10, a 20, a 29, a 40, and a 55. That's 5 packages. We're going to have 5 packages. You can order a package for the size tank you have, and it will have more plants by 6 in each one. So it'll be 16 by 6 by 8. 16, 24, 32, 40, and 48. 10, 20, 29, 40, and 55. The 40 I think actually has more square footprint than the 55 does. I think I measured it out once and it looked like it was that way. It's 36 by 18 as opposed to 48 by 12. That's 4 square feet as opposed to 3 by 1.5, 4.5 square feet. So yeah, the 40 gallon breeder has a bigger footprint than the 55 gallon. So those are going to be probably both the same size package, or maybe we'll make the 40 gallon a little bigger. Anyway, I haven't got all this worked out yet, but it'll be up and operational fairly soon. Do I sell plants I could use in brackish water? Virtually all of the plants that I sell will thrive in brackish water. You may have one or two that won't, but by and large, all of them will. I can do a brackish. That's interesting. I can do a brackish kit. That would include Vallisneria, Sagittarius, Ludwigia, and Sword. We'll include those 4. And some of these are big plants. The Sagittarius get 5 to 6 feet long. And of course the swords get enormous. I have not been ordering the mother swords simply because they're too big and I can't handle them here, but I probably will wind up doing that. They're magnificent. They're 2 feet tall and just this huge big stem with monster leaves on it. They sell for about $25, but they're an incredible plant, and they are a mother plant. They'll have runners on them with babies. If I can find my source again, once I get set up, I'll start ordering them. Officially is here. Hello, Officially. Happy to see you. How to prevent fish from ruining the substrate. Ghost of Roquet. The only ones that do are some of the large Central American cichlids. And they'll just tear it up. I mean, they're hopeless. There's like big Oscars and whatnot. They dig down to bedrock. They're impossible to keep in a dirty tank. Now, I've done it. I've kept them in very large tanks with extremely deep substrate, like a foot deep, and loaded. Enough fish in the tank that there was uh, that more interest in aggression than there was in spawning. So the fish were kept busy by each other. And that actually works pretty well. The problem is, in a smaller tank, you'll just get dead fish. They'll wind up killing each other. Henry says, I like the tropicals more than saltwater tanks. Henry Hall, Henry Hall felt that way. The saltwater fish are stunningly beautiful, of course, but you can't really breed them. And I think one of the great joys with freshwater fish is to breed them. Now I will say this: the coral farming and hardscape in saltwater tanks is light years ahead of where most of the freshwater tanks are. In that they just provide more refuge for fish that tend to hide a lot, tend to cave a lot, and so forth. Morpheus K just subscribed. Welcome, Morpheus, and thank you so much for your subscription. Let's see. Corey Miller. Have a mother sword who's a proud mama. They're wonderful, aren't they? Mike Frost finally caught alive. Well, nice to have you with us, Mike. What shrimp are good for a 10-gallon tank? I don't know. What shrimp are good for a 10? Depends how adventurous you are, I guess. Somebody else will have to field that one. I don't do a lot with shrimp. I don't even have any shrimp here. I really need to get some. Henry Guardo, I only had one fish tank in my lifetime, so I was new to it and didn't know how to keep them thriving. I planted some plants I found in a lake, and it became overrun with snails. Well, that's because the snails were eating up all that excess food you were putting in there. That's always true. It's 100% of the time true. If you get overrun with snails, it's because you were overfeeding, and they're cleaning up all that excess food you're putting in the tank. And in the process, keeping your tank from becoming foul and crashing and killing all your fish. So be thankful for the snails. They're saving your silly butt from ruining your tank. Ain't nature grand? Does anyone have a name of organic potting soil? Doesn't matter. Any will do, cat. Doesn't matter. Amano shrimp. Amano are easily the simplest to keep. They're the hardiest. They will not breed in your tank because they require brackish water for the eggs to hatch. But you certainly can keep them. That's Luke says he has 4 or 5 Amano. David Turner just bought the soil supplement. Can't wait to dirt the new tank. Well, looking forward to it, David. And be sure you to get on over to Discord if you're not already there and post some pictures of your new tank. A puffer will eat snails, says Passing Wind. Yes, they will. Yeah, Amano shrimp, Andy Chur, do a good job keeping plants clean and picking up excess food. Absolutely. No, yes. My nitrate level is too high, so I guess I got too many fish in the tank. Right. Already added a lot more plants. Well, maybe you're feeding too much too. But adding a lot more plants will get that under control. So you're going in the right direction, yes. I don't do water changes. Well, that's probably also a reason why your nitrates are up. But again, adding more plants is going to resolve that issue. Hello, aquatic nests. My. Tetsi Nelson, I have Ula shrimp. They live in brackish water up to 20 years. At least you know they're handling all the fish waste. Yeah. Said I find it hard to keep. That was Mike Frost. I'm sorry. I jumped around there. Hard to find plants to use in the tank. They would love a 10-gallon. I can put together, if you will order, let me do this. Let me put up a package up of brackish plants. I'll do that. I'll get a brackish packet up and we'll get you some brackish plants. Do male tilapia fight more than females? Male cichlids fight more than female cichlids. Female cichlids, by and large, don't fight at all. But male cichlids, by and large, do. Let's say no to war. Let's get you. I guess I already got it. Christopher, New York City 276 is a member. Welcome, Christopher. Nice to have you here. Ooh. Let me know when you get it up and I'll order some. I'll try to get it up this evening, Katsy. I should be able to do it right away. Lalkatia. What do you think of an Oxic filtration a la Dr. Novak? I found it very interesting that once that system is about a year old, it becomes a dirted deep substrate. It's simply let's call it a unique way to get there. Counterintuitive, I guess. When will the book be published? We hope to have the first section out by June, and then we have 2 more sections. If it all goes well, by the end of the year, and that'll be available as PDF right away through our website. Do I keep plant degree or suction it? I keep it. It is nutrient for microfauna and creates a microfauna culture. So I add to it. I add leaves and other vegetable matter, plant debris, if you will, to be able to increase that in order to increase the biodiversity. Petco has a 50% sale on through the end of the month. Yeah, 1 more week. It'll be over this Friday, I guess. So if you need a tank, it's a good deal. Get a brand new tank for half price. So get over to Pleco and pick up your tank and order your substrate and plants. And we have a total package for a 10 to 20 gallon tank. I think it's $95. You get everything. You get the dirt supplement. You get a chloramine remover. You get 16 bunches of plants. You get the leaf culture and the mixed leaves, all for $95 plus 15 shipping. So it's a really good deal. Let's see. The green names. Oh yeah, talking about the green names are all members of the Fatherfish channel. Henry says, I thank each and every one of you, and thank you, Fatherfish. I cannot wait until I get me another fish tank. But this time I will not be as ignorant as I was with the first tank I ever owned. Well, we get smarter as we get older, don't we? Live and learn. TK. Even though it make a cloud poof. Don't know what that's referring to. Make sure you put Brackish in the name when you add it so people know and can link to it. Yes, I will. That'll be clear, Ketsy. KJ7s, how do you become a member? If you go to the Fatherfish, there are two ways. Go to the Fatherfish YouTube site. There is a membership button there, or click on the Patreon link that's posted at the top of the page, and you can become a member on Patreon. So either way, you can become a Patreon member or a YouTube member. Christopher, does 1 ppm ammonia drop the pH? Usually. pH is 6.0. GH took about 11 drops to turn green. Well, I'll tell you what. If your pH is 6.0, you don't have any carbonate in that water. And so ammonia is going to play havoc with it. Added some aragonite, about a half layer on top of the sand cap. That'll help a lot. You can also put some baking soda in. That'll get the pH up more quickly. You're not going to hurt the fish by increasing the pH. I would get it up to 7.0, and then that aragonite should be able to hold it there. The problem is with a very low pH, you wind up with no bacteria. And that's a real problem when you're trying to create a balanced system, because you need the bacteria to break down waste. Maurice Matla, not shipped over here, I take it. We talked about this a minute ago. If you're in the EU, Maurice, come on over to Discord and talk to Laura. She's handling a couple of products. She's in Germany and can ship to the EU as well as Great Britain. If you say over here, I assume that's what you mean. Jeff Koski, reseal my 40 breeder. Getting ready to set it up. Well, good luck with that. Did a leak test yesterday. Don't put it in your living room, Jeff. Whatever you do. Kathleen Bronson. Hello, hello. Oh, Henry says I was only 19 when I had my first fish tank. I'm 57 now, so it's been a long time. I love watching fish. Makes me happy to relax and enjoy another creation of life. Absolutely, Henry. Been doing it since I was about 9 years old. Let's see, Kitsy. In the bundle kit I include instructions. I'll try to do that. I will do that. Maurice says, got his first tank on his 5th birthday and still has it. That's wonderful. Henry Hall was given a tank when he was 5 years old. In 1895, he gave me that tank in about 1978. And I turned it over to a museum that Zoo Med maintains in, I don't know where, Anaheim or something in California. Someday I'll get there and visit it. Andrew Finna. Can't wait to set up my first ecosystem. No, you don't need root tabs. That's right. Once you have it set up, then you never fertilize it. You don't need to. Yeah, look, hot. It's a simple enough matter for you to add the leaf litter. But just start putting it in very small amounts. Oh, in the Netherlands. Yeah, Tommy is in the Netherlands, and he's trying to get set up as well. So we got you covered, Maurice. Come over to Discord and we'll chat you up. Look for Tommy Denda or Laura. Gray fish girl. Gray fish girl? I guess. David Bruno, the father of all fish. Hello, David. Nice to see you. Leaf litter makes all the difference. It does. It really does. It provides a foundation for the food web, which is the source of a diverse system. So it's really a critical component of the whole system. Lightly planted tanks in an inch of sand. Want many more? Would you suggest redoing the whole tank with dirt and inches of sand? Michael, it depends how long your tank has been set up. If it's been set up for a year, then you have enough nutrients down in there to be able to sustain your plants. If it's a few months, you don't. So you might consider redoing it and getting the dirt layer in. But basically, a year-old tank should have enough malm and detritus that has precipitated into the substrate to be able to provide nutrients for your plants. Henry is battling lung cancer. Well, Henry, we're right there with you, praying for you and just sending all of the positive positive vibes weekend to you, and asking that the Lord heal your cancer. Fight the good fight, Henry. He's winning, he says. Bravo. Bravo. Leaf litter helps to control ammonia. Well, yeah, it does. It breaks down waste. It creates microflora, which is various forms of algae, all of which absorb ammonia. So, yes. One Wanderer prayers for Henry. Amen to that. Where are we? We're an hour. I don't know whether you've noticed, but I'm tired. I'm not as loquacious as I normally am. I think I may cut this off in an hour. We'll go a little longer, but I'm kind of wearing down. Ghost of RK says, officially, is it true you have 50 years experience in the hobby? Lol Katya, is there any specific type of leaves to use, or can I just go out into the woods? I live in the woods and pick up old leaves off the ground. Yes, you can, absolutely. And officially says, yes, I'm 66 this year. Bravo, officially. Michael Sullivan, tanks are probably set up for 2 to 3 years. Can see all the detritus steeper down. Assassin snails help with that. Yeah, you're good. You don't need to change it. You can just add plants to that, and they should get all the nutrients they need. Not a problem. Kenny D, prayers, healing, blessings to Henry. Amen. Lake and stream leaves are the best. Yeah, what you want to try to do is you want to try to get some leaves from a body of water. And the reason is that you need starter culture. You need the animals that are living in there that are feeding off of those leaves. And then you can add dried leaves once that's in there. But that's your starter culture. We are all connected, aren't we? Christopher, God be with you, Henry.
This is listener-supported classical Gummo, WSCM Salisbury, 89.5 FM.
Ooh.
Salisbury University and the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
What a blessing this is. What a blessing. Kaler is here. Hey, Kaler. Nice to see you. Ghost of ROK officially. Just learning the true method, Father Fish style. For years I'd followed the KG Tropical style and spent many money due to it. Indeed. Andrew Finna. Can you recommend the best books for deep substrate aquariums? Apologies if you've already done this. Well, the equality of the planted aquarium, let me get it and show you, is the seminal book. And it is right now It's in its 5th edition, which is coming out right now. This is Wallstead's book. So that's available. And in the new book, she gives some credibility to sand as a cap. So we beat her into submission on that one. We will have a book out that details the leaf, the microculture, the leaves, and the deep substrate, and all of the processes that are involved in that. We have a research group working on that right now over on Discord. They hope to have the leaf section finished in another month and a half, and we'll then be able to get that part published. Then the next is going to be, I think, the deep substrate. We'll see how it goes. But we will have in-depth analysis, and this is researching all of the available literature, the scientific literature, all of the available research having to do with deep substrate systems, live culture, and so forth. So that's going to be available. And there really isn't anything else. I mean, Dinah Wallstead's book covers the dirted aspect of it, which is critical because that's really what opened the door. Now, she did that based on Amano's work, which is based on work that was done by a number of people in the saltwater field. So this really started with saltwater collectors and has moved over into freshwater. Kind of interesting that it happened that way, but that's the way it happened officially. Found Father Fish and trying his method, started trying the natural method with the help of an Asian neighbor, Mr. Clay. He didn't know about sand, but never broke down tanks. This is officially. I was froze, and now I'm not. Good. Michael Sullivan says, I've worked in 6 hours, but would rather listen to your wisdom than get a good night's sleep. Thank you for your service and spreading your knowledge. Very nice, Michael. Thank you. Thank you so much. How do you know how often to add leaves? That's a good question. Well, they get deteriorated. They get chewed up. So when they do, you just add more. It's like feeding. Think of it as food. Have I met Diana Wallstead in person? No, I have not. I do have a friend, John Patterson, who worked with her at her home doing gardening and pond work and fish stuff for some years. But I have not met with her in person, nor have I spoken with her. Snake has 15 tanks with deep substrate. Almost zero maintenance. All fish thrive. Thank you, Father Fish. Hello, Padre. Padre Pez. Coolio, she says. Snake fed the tanks. Feed the tanks and not the fish. Especially the smaller nano fish. That's right. Kidder Inc. Father Fish. In all your years in the hobby, what's the biggest lie that's gift wrapped, sold, and eaten up blindly today? There are so many. It's hard to pick my favorite. Hey, I've done a bunch of videos on things like the nitrate cycle and feeding fish and all of that sort of stuff. I tell you what, there is one that beats them all. Gravel. Gravel is responsible for 99% of the failure that people experience keeping fish. Gravel. Nothing else. Gravel. It creates, for the uninitiated and those who are not meticulous fish keepers, it creates an open cesspool that fouls the tank. That is its nature. That is what it does. And that's what kills fish. I think gravel is the biggest single lie that has been perpetrated in the hobby. That's not to say you can't do it successfully. You can do anything successfully if you put your mind to it. You can keep your fish on bare glass. You can keep your fish over marbles. And if you know what you're doing and you're careful and you handle it properly, they'll live a long, long, long time. But if you're like me, lazy and forgetful, you need the father fish system because it takes care of itself. It does. It takes care of itself. And that's the big lie, that your fish tank needs you to take care of it all the time. It doesn't. It needs you to set it up properly and leave it alone. So there's another one. If I already have 4 inches of gravel, how much sand do I need to cap it off? 2 inches. 2 inches will do just fine. Macho cat. 2 inches of sand. Let's see. Kathleen is trying to get an order for Canada. We're trying to get that set up, and we don't have it yet. We're working on it, Kathleen, and we'll have that as soon as possible. Officially, was 16 back then. It had a successful tank with 2 angels. Half the tank was corkscrew valve. I had to do 2-week water changes because there was no sand cap. The sand cap works. Indeed it does. And that's right. If you've got gravel, you need to do water changes. You have to, because the water gets foul. And you need to get the foulness out. A filter won't do it. Lots and lots and lots of plants will help, but then you're going to have trouble keeping them alive in gravel. Yeah, I know. I know. Ghost of Arcade talking about KG. I don't want to get into poking on people because it's just not worth doing. They're learning, they're coming along, they're growing. Again, one of the problems in this hobby is that people develop a system that they learn how to handle. They learn how to do it, and they do it well. KG Tropicals does what they do very, very well. They're very successful at it. They're very effective at it. They've learned how to do it. And they discipline themselves. And it requires a good deal of discipline. Requires a lot of water changes and so forth. So, you know, not to put them down at all, because they're very successful, not just with a big channel, but with their fish. They have a oh. I need to buy some plumber's tape. This thing is threaded on a screw that keeps coming loose. It just falls off because the mic's kind of heavy. Get the wire out of here. If I quit pulling on the wire, that'll probably help a lot. Oh dear. Alright, where are we? KG Tropicals loves to work hard. Though, yeah, he does, and it's paying off for him. I'm working on them. I'm working on them. They're nice people. I'm working on them. Officially saying you can use a little gravel on top of the sand to make it look interesting. I'll tell you what I like is the little tiny river rock. I think it looks really sharp. Put that on top of the sand as a dressing. It's really effective. How old is my oldest fish? Not very old. Probably the Pleco is about 4 or 5 years old. I got rid of everything when I came to Maryland from Florida. He was about the only thing I brought out. That and some Formosa. What is this? What grain size do I consider sand? 1 to 2 millimeter. Let's see. 0.8, 1 millimeter. Or smaller. I like the smaller. I like fine sand. Pool filter sand is 0.25, I think. Steve was saying he's seen them. I assume he means KG with sanded tanks. That's right. Yeah, Go's saying that gravel became a junkyard. Does indeed. Headphone users. I know. Let's see. Healthy anaerobic under the sand is key to a happy balance system. Sand is key. It's in the bottom of every lake. It's in the bottom of every body of fresh water and salt water on planet Earth. Sand is the universal substrate. Sagrath 1982. Hello, hello. Pool filter sand. Yeah, it's clean, it's effective, it's inexpensive. And if you want color, you can get black sand from Tractor Supply. It's sandblasting sand. Also very cheap. Can you add sand to keep it looking fresh? Absolutely, and I do recommend it. I have not done that with my 40-gallon long here, and it looks like it. It's got a half an inch of loam in it. I need to put some sand in there. Tinger 5150. Hello, hello. Welcome. Give you a wrench. Aaron's Water Buddies asks about adding sand. Absolutely. What size sand? We just talked about that, Jeff. Pool filter sand, I think it's 0.25. I like that. I like very fine sand. I think the fine sand works better than coarse sand, frankly. David lives next to a lake in Florida. Would you use live lake sand or pool filter sand? No contest. I would use live lake sand. Snake, a great stream. People are discovering the deep substrate way of life. Bravo. Jeff Koski. Hello, Jeff. Deep substrate for the win. Kidder Inc. I have a natural biotype gathered locally in the UK. It has outlived all my tanks and I haven't touched it. Only topped off the water. It's around 5 years old now. Stickleback. So, oh my word. I am dying to get sticklebacks. And I'm close to them now. We got brackish water sticklebacks in Chesapeake Bay. And I'm going to get me some. This spring, I'm going to get out there and get them. Love sticklebacks. I just got some new darters today. I put a trap out. I found a little creek running through a wooded area that's kind of marshed out, and I put a trap in it and caught about a half a dozen darters. The female is a big fat girl, and the males are smaller. I don't know what kind it is yet. I need to look it up. Henry Guardo, don't forget to hit the like button. How we doing with likes? We're at 70, 71. Hit the like button. We got 122 viewers. It just keeps going up. That's really amazing. Have I ever had... Oh, yeah. That's going all the way back to the beginning. Talking about the Hawaii shrimp. Oh, there's a whole bunch of new people. Look at this, back to back. Her Novo Chatui recently came across my channel. It came across your channel and became a fan. Thank you so much. And we're going to give you a wrench. Arunavo. John Parker started at 10 gallon. Dirt substrate 2.5 with 3 inches sand. Is that okay? No, it's not. Your dirt is way too deep. If you have a problem, you may need to break it. You may need to break it down. The dirt should be no more than 1 inch. Don't break it down until you have a problem. You may be okay. You may get away with it. The problem will be it'll explode like a volcano. So, if it doesn't do that, just started, he says. Yeah, I recommend 1 inch of dirt and 2 inches of sand. So I don't know where you got your numbers from, John Parker. He's in Silver Spring. Probably DC influence, I would say. Wouldn't you? Hang in there, John. It might be fine. But you'll know. If it blows up, just break down and start over. You won't be able to save it, but it might be okay. It just really depends on what's in that dirt. If it's got a lot of minerals, then it could be a problem. If it's fairly mineral low with a lot of humic material, you could be okay. Rebel Mac. Using fluval stratum 1.5 for a year. Not bad for plant growth, but started leaking so much nutrients, I have blackbeard algae everywhere. That's exactly the problem. Yeah, capped it with black blasting sand. That works. And that's what you need to do. Babe, my KH fell and my pH started falling. After 6 weeks, no water change. What should I do to keep this from happening? you don't have enough buffer in your water. You need more buffer. Carbonates. You need carbonates. A lot of different ways to do it. Sodium bicarbonate works. Eggshells work. I'm going to be starting to put crushed oyster shell in my supplement to help with that issue. But anything you can do to increase carbonates, they are a buffer, and they will hold the pH stable once you get them to a certain level. So work on it that way. You'll be able to do it. It's not brain surgery. Just find ways to add carbonates to your water, and it'll straighten out. Not a problem. Still in ya. What's up? Nice to see you. Eric? In a Pleco grow-out tank, should I have more filtration or deeper substrate? Or both? It really doesn't have anything to do with a Pleco. Plecos are air breathers. They come to the surface for air, so it doesn't matter how much water movement is in there. That's not what's critical for them, but a deep substrate with a food web will provide a world of nutrients for them. It'll be absolutely perfect as a grow out tank for Pleco, so I would move in that direction. KJ Stevens is saying, John, if you need help, come to Discord. There's a specific chat about dirt and substrate. Absolutely. Hello, Callie. Callie Lofgren from Sweden. Officially, aragonite, baking soda, or API's aquarium salt. Salt raises KH gently without raising the GH or bouncing the pH. Not all brands of salt are the same. Good advice, officially. Henry, I have to get some rest. Have a good night. Hope to see y'all here next time. Delighted to have you here, Henry. Get some sleep and a good week ahead of you. God bless. Christopher, should the pond culture from the resurrection jar be added by 4 to 6 ounces at a time for it to not overload our aquariums? Well, that's the right idea, Christopher. You don't want to put a huge amount in there because you can crash the tank. Put small amounts in gradually. And you'll know. You'll be able to tell. Just keep an eye on it, watch it, and add as you're able to. KH should be around 120 parts per million. Yeah, that's a good solid buffer. Mach 389. Well, someone keeps pulling out my dwarf grass in the 40 breeder, so I restarted my 2.5 sealed window tank. That'll work. We get KH5 GH8 straight from the tap here. KH5 GH8. Wow. Christopher, have a good night, Henry. Erie first. All right. We're going to wrap it up. We're at 1.5 hours. Is there such a thing as too much mulch? Not exactly. But if you have mulch, it means that your sand is too shallow. If you will add another inch of sand, that mulch will sift down into it. You have to have enough sand so that the mulch that's being generated will be able to move through it. If it's too shallow, it's going to pile up on top of it. Some more sand will allow it to go through. That's basically what's happened to my tank here. I've just kind of ignored it forever. And as a result, it's got a good half-inch of mulch sitting on the top of the sand. So I need to add about an inch of sand. The problem is I've already got 4 inches in a 12-inch tank. So that'll be 5. It'll be near half full of sand. So I've just kind of let it go. But I will need to do something about it. And I'm not going to take it out because it is the nutrient foundation for the tank. Aaron, did I give you a wrench? I thought I did. I did not. Arnavu Chatui is only a deep sand substrate going to be a problem when the tank was set up unaware? No, not at all. Make it 3 inches deep, and after 6 to 8 months, it will begin to have enough of a buildup in there through precipitation that it'll provide nutrients for plants, and it'll only get better after that. But you should have about a 3-inch sand bed to make that work. We've had a lot of new people in today, this evening. That's real nice. 113 viewers. That's real nice. Michael is going to bed, giving it up. Aquatic Moose, my favorite recipe of substrate layers. Well, you're gonna come over to Discord to get an answer to that one. That's a little involved. Off to bed. It's 1:30 in the morning on the other coast. That's the west coast of the east coast. It's the other west coast of the east coast. The west coast that's on the other side of the ocean from the east coast. Just put a picture of my tank in your Discord and tag it to you in the shrimp channel. Thank you, Ketsy. Appreciate it. Bite aboard. Hello, Bite aboard. Nice to see you. Bite aboard is off to bed. ABS Aquatics. Oh, Fishley, good night, good night. I'm going to say the same. Everybody else going to bed, I'm going to go to bed too. Have 6 inches deep substrate. That's perfect. Not a problem at all. Love Fatherfish and all my soul. You too, Erie first. Steve Warren, sleep well. God bless all. Oh boy. God bless all. Good to be with you. Lovely being here. Love you and bye for now. We will have a video coming up Tuesday. And if we get our schedule going, we'll have another one by the end of the week. So that's the game plan. We'll see if we can actually pull it off. Bless you all. Bye for now.